to start with today's topic of stress and shoulders by teaching you a mudra. Mudra is a position that you use with your hands, which elicit different feelings and also allow different energy circulation in your body. Today's mudra is called the Prithvi mudra, which is the mudra of earth. So since we're working on our stress and we usually spiraling into the abyss and we need grounded, we're going to use this mudra to bring us back down to earth. The two fingers involved in this mudra are our ring finger and our thumb. You simply press the tip of the thumb to the tip of the ring finger anytime that you're needing grounding. The other two fingers can stay straight or they can gently rest, but the main connection that you're looking for is the ring finger and the thumb. So during this practice, anytime that you're feeling an area that has stress in it, then I would suggest you pressing the ring finger and the thumb together to release that stress from that area. The first pose that we're going to start with is a forward fold, just to set the tone of letting go. If you start at the front of your mat and have two blocks available to you, just in case you need them, stand in mountain with your feet hip width apart, all four corners of your feet pressing into the ground. We're going to straighten the legs, engage the thighs. Hold the hands at the hips. Once we're standing nice and tall, you're just gently folding at the hips to lower yourself down into a forward fold. Now bend the knees slightly this first time since we're just warming up, and then reach for the blocks. Allow the head to relax and feel any tension right now in the shoulders. Notice if one shoulder is pulled higher towards the ear than another. And today we're focusing on releasing the shoulders out and away from our body. So we're not pulling them up, we're not pushing them down, we're actually widening them. Now as we breathe here, we're going to slowly lower our hands down to the floor, even if it requires us bending the knees. And once the hands are on the floor, we're going to flip our hands upside down and then pull them underneath the balls of the feet. The back of the hand will be on the floor. The feet will be on the palms of the hands. And this is going to allow us to simply pull some of the stress out of the shoulders. A deep bend in the legs is perfectly fine since we're not focusing on the lower body today, we're focusing on the upper body. You can have your head completely relaxed and your gaze towards the belly button. When you get stabilized and feel centered here, you can gently pull the spine away from the legs to allow a gentle release of the shoulders. Notice how whenever you pull the body away from the feet, it's pulling the arms out and away from the shoulders versus up towards the ears. Breathe here a few times. Notice any stress remaining in the shoulders. And slowly untuck each hand one at a time. Place the hands on the hips and gently allow yourself back up. Standing back in mountain and feeling the space between both shoulders and across the collarbones. Notice all of the blood rushing back to your body evenly, not just in the shoulders. Next, we're going to do eagle pose. So you can get a strap. I would recommend it. A strap or a belt or anything pretty much works that just lengthens your arm. In eagle for shoulders, we're not going to do the legs today since we are focusing all of our mental strength on the upper body. We're going to hold a strap in one hand. We're going to spread our arms out wide like a T, strap in the left hand. We're going to wrap the left arm over the right elbow and then pull the backs of the hands towards each other until you can reach the strap and pull the backs of the hands and the backs of the forearms closer to each other. You may not need a strap, and you may be able to wrap the hands back around and meet themselves like they're giving each other a high five. Once we are here, check your stance to make sure you're still in mountain with your lower body. As you breathe in, feel the width that's coming in the back of your shoulders. And then slowly rise with the elbows, fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Continue breathing deeply here, especially expanding the rib cage to release any tension in the shoulders. The shoulder blades you will feel pulling farther apart. Focus more on the elbows meeting there than the hands meeting, because that's step one. Chin down. Good. To come out of eagle so that it continues releasing the tension, you will take a deep breath in, and on your breath out, lower the elbows down, release the bottom hand, and then lower the shoulders, palms open. You can even do your mudra here if you would like. If your left elbow was on top, the left shoulder may be the one that had the most release in this particular stretch. We're going to switch arms. So hold the strap in the right hand, spread the arms nice and wide. Right elbow is going to go over the left elbow pit. Backs of the hands press towards each other, grabbing the strap if you would like. And make sure that whenever you're holding the strap, have the strap dangling over the back of the hand. You'll have the tail coming out of the top of the thumb and forefinger so that it can simply rest over the back of the palm, so that when you're reaching for the other hand, then it's hanging right where your opposite hand is. Now checking our lower body is still in mountain. We're standing nice and tall. With each deep breath, we're expanding the shoulder blades across the back. We're keeping the collarbones spread and releasing any tension in our shoulders. And on a deep breath in, we can rise with the elbows, pressing the hands higher towards the ceiling. Keeping the chin parallel to the ground and the neck nice and relaxed. Breathing here for a few breaths. Relaxing with the shoulder rather than the chin. Sometimes if we are not stretching enough, our shoulder blades begin to become glued onto our backs, and until we release the suction, then they can become very permanently stuck. Now just as before, to release, we're going to take a deep breath in, one last inch higher with the elbows, and on a deep breath out, we're lowering the elbows, releasing the hands from each other, allowing the hands by our side, palms open towards the front of us, possibly doing our mudra if we so wish. Now if that time your right elbow was over the left, you're probably feeling the release more in the right shoulder. Now check if they're even now. Notice how far away the left ear is from the left shoulder. And then notice how far away the right ear is from the right shoulder. Can we even them and relax them both completely? Okay. Now facing the side of your mat, we're going to take a wide stance about 4 to 5 feet apart. You can adjust your feet as we go into this based on the openness of your hips, because we just want you to be comfortable in this position since we're focusing on the upper body. You're going to turn the toes 45 degrees out And you're going to sink into goddess by allowing the knees to press towards the feet, the tailbone to sink towards the floor. Allowing the feet to come closer together if it helps keep the knees over the ankles. This is releasing some of the tension in the hips, and then we're going to allow the upper body and shoulders to release by bringing the arms overhead, and then pulling the elbows down to the sides of us, stopping at the shoulder height. You can press the palms wide in front of you like you're pressed up against a wall, and feel how wide you can pull each elbow from the other. Farther apart, making the longest line from elbow through the shoulders to elbow. Hands staying above the elbows. Feel the width across the collarbones and feel how the chest is open here. Press gently into the ground to stand high, and then rise the arms above the shoulders into a wide-legged mountain. And then one more time, sinking now the hips and the elbows at the same time. So as you sink with the hips, allow the elbows down. Breathing deeply here. One benefit of goddess pose is that it is a power stance. So whenever we're stressed, a lot of times we may feel powerless, and this gives us power to hunker down and get through. And then breath in, and then breath out, press high, release the tension. Bring the feet back to normal, standing in your mountain. Noticing your shoulders now are wider. Our chest may be a little bit more open and almost like a standing proud in a good way. For cow face pose, we're going to use a block if you have tight hips. If not, then we're just going to be sitting on the ground. So I'm going to use 2 blocks because my hips are pretty tight. Centered long ways in the middle of the mat. And then I'm going to have a strap nearby. You're going to begin sitting on the mat or on the block with your feet in front of you, knees bent. We're going to start with the lower body because a lot of the tension and stress that we hold in our bodies start in the hips and then work their way up. So we want to release it from the hips first and then let it through our arms. We're going to wrap the left foot under the right sit bone, allowing the left shin to press firmly against the ground. Then we're going to wrap the right foot over the left leg and possibly under the left sit bone, depending on how the hips feel. You may already feel a release in both hips, especially that top leg hip. Do not worry about forcing the foot under the hip bone. As soon as you feel that strong releasing feeling in the hips, just sit there with it. Breathe here a few times just to become comfortable with the stretch. Then we're going to bring the arms into play. So cow face, we're going to have the opposite arm on top versus the leg. So we're going to have our left arm on top of our body. We're going to hold the strap with our left hand. We're going to reach our left arm up above our left shoulder, wrapping the tricep in towards the front of you. Release any tension in the shoulder. If the shoulder went up towards the ear, relax it down. And swing the strap to where it's behind you if it's not already. So make sure it's hanging behind you. This will guarantee less frustration as you're trying to release the tension. Okay, next the right arm is going to wrap behind your back so the right palm is pressed into the back. You can find the strap with your right hand that's dangling from your left and then slowly inch the strap down, bending the left elbow. eventually meeting both hands together behind your back. The left tricep is wrapping forward towards the front of your body. The right tricep is wrapping back behind your body. You may feel a deep release on the top of your shoulder cap, across the top of your arm. You may feel it in your shoulder blades, and you may even feel it in the armpit area of the top arm. As soon as you're feeling the stretch, just breathe with it there. You don't even have to worry about going all the way to meet the hands together, as long as you're feeling the benefits of the stretch. Continue to breathe here, allowing the expansion of your ribs to deepen the stretch in your arms and shoulders. Now, just as in eagle arms, we're going to take a deep breath in, expand the stretch as much as we can, and on a breath out, we're releasing the strap slowly, allowing the arms to relax by our side. Then slowly removing the top leg from the bottom leg, and then the bottom leg back in front of us so that we can do the other side. This time we're going to put the right heel under the left sit bone, allowing the right shin to press on the mat in front of us. And then we're going to wrap the left leg over the right leg, pulling the left heel towards the right sit bone. In the end, you may have a triangle pointed in front of you where the kneecaps are stacked on top of each other and the feet are opposite their hips. This time the strap is going to be in the right hand. Go ahead and allow it to sink behind your body as you rise the right hand above your shoulder. Begin here by relaxing the shoulders, wrapping the tricep forward, and then allow the left hand to slip behind the back and find the strap. Slowly meet the hands towards each other by closing the gap of the strap. Breathing wide through the ribs. Throughout cow face pose, you have help with your posture as your lower arm is pressed up against your back. But at any time you notice your gut kind of releasing and the belly button protruding out towards the knees, I want you to imagine on the next breath in, pulling your spine longer so that it allows the belly button to pull in towards the spine. This will continue to release more of the tension in your hips, which we can then also release in our shoulders. As for your chin on this particular pose, we may find it sinking down towards our chest and our back wanting to hollow out and press into the strap. I want you to allow the chin to rise to meet the plateau of the mat and pull the head high towards the ceiling through the crown of your skull. And with the last breath in, expanding the rib cage, stretching the shoulders, releasing the strap on the breath out, allowing the arms by the side, and then slowly unstacking the legs. Moving into cat-cow, we're going to have our knees on the mat and our hands on the mat in table position, keeping the hips over the knees and the feet behind the knees. Rest the palms wide on the mat, fingers spread, entire palm pressing down under the shoulders. Right here, we can already begin to feel any of the release that happened today in the shoulders, as we may be able to wrap the triceps in towards our body more than before, because the shoulders can come away from the ears as we're pulling the ears forward with the head. In cat-cow, you're going to use the hands and the shins to produce the motion in the spine. We're going to go into cow first with a nice breath in, allowing the chest to press through the arms, pulling the triceps towards the chest at the same time, and then pull the tailbone towards the heels. Breathing into cow. Feel the width in front of the shoulders, the width in front of the collarbones. And then on a breath out, you're pressing the shins and the hands into the ground, allowing the back to hunch like a cat on Halloween Day. The tailbone now points down towards the floor. The head sinks even more towards the ground and between the hands. And the triceps continue wrapping in towards the body, opening the eyes of the elbows in front of you. Feel how wide you can press the shoulder blades across the back now that we've released the tension in them. Keep the belly button towards the spine to allow a nice hollow structure underneath you. Another breath in into cow. Feel the width. And then a breath out into cat. And then a few more at your own pace, becoming acutely aware of each part of your shoulder, starting with the shoulder caps, moving across the back and the shoulder blades, up and over traps, and then across the collarbones. On the last breath out, just begin to sink the tailbone towards the heels and allow the knees to open slightly to go into a child's pose. You may want to extend the hands farther in front of you on the mat, noticing how the shoulders don't even need to come up towards the ears now because the arms are also nice and open. Slowly allow yourself onto your back for a final Shavasana. As you lay in your final Shavasana, notice how wide the shoulders are against the back of the mat. Tuck the shoulder blades under you so that they're not pressed into the mat. And then feel the collarbones spreading wider. You can even take your fingertips onto your shoulder caps and then pull them apart like you're stretching a rubber band. And then once you've opened this, allow the hands to the side of your body, palms up, and you can even take the mudra of the earth by pressing the thumb and the ring finger gently into each other. Closing the eyes as you breathe slowly through the nose. With each breath, widening the base of the back into the floor, melting all of your troubles away. As you relax here, noticing how any of the tension you came into class today with has had a chance to remove itself from your body. You've allowed yourself the time to just be gentle and caring to your body so that the stress in your shoulders can be removed. feeling yourself going into a deeper and deeper state of relaxation. Just want to remind you of today's quote that we've been focusing on. It's from Sidney J. Harris, and it says, "The time to relax is when you don't have time for it." You have plenty of time to remain here, relaxing until you feel completely at ease. When you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, just going to slowly begin to wiggle your toes, opening and closing the fingers towards the palms, gently opening the eyes. First, allowing the left arm to cross over to the right arm, and the left leg to stack over on top of the right leg until you're on your side. Relaxing here for a moment and noticing how your whole body feels. Then gently pressing the left hand into the floor, begin to sit up onto the right hip and then eventually upright in whatever seated position is comfortable for you. Taking one last moment with your mudra, one last set of breathing, allowing the last bit of tension out of the shoulders. I appreciate you taking your time to relax with me today. And I will see you next time.